difference? That's right. We're in Slinky, the SLK, because we're on our way to Uncle Steve's. I did have a debate with Steve whether it was still the done thing to use a picture of Hagrid after the very sad passing of Robbie Coltrane, legend. And we've agreed we're going to carry on using the picture of Hagrid because he is known as Hagrid. He's known as a lot of things, but one of them is Hagrid. So we're going to carry on using the picture of Hagrid. And yes, Slinky's off to Uncle Steve, who's going to take it for an MOT, and he's also hidden behind my bag. Probably can't see, but you probably can. He's borrowing my aqua jiggler to clean some bits up. So that's what we're doing. And this is the first time the car's moved since March. I've just been up, put some fresh fuel in it. I put a bit. What are you doing, Mr. Track? You have slip road, so you'll not stick ass out into road like unprofessional, says the professional. Anyway, so yeah, it's not moved, and the last time I drove this, it broke down, and it was using a lot of fuel, and there was an engine light on which you would clear, and it'd be back within sort of 10 minutes, not even that. And it was a O2 sensor, and when I investigated said O2 sensor, the loom had oil in it, engine oil, and I thought, how strange. Maybe like a dickhead, maybe the sensor has leaked. Jim, it's in an exhaust, you tit. But anyway, did some reading up on sensor faults with SLKs, CLKs, and any Mercedes Chrysler engine, basically, Daimler, that uses the cam adjustment actuator on the front of the engine the same as this one. Jim, that was a really long-winded way of saying it. Anyway, on the front of these engines, you have a magnetic cam timing adjuster, and if you haven't run it for a while, when you first start the car and you get a tick tick ticky ticky tick tick, that's usually that, because there's no oil pressure in it. It runs on oil pressure, and it's like electromechanical too. And what happened was, and I've explained this before in earlier video, is that I don't know whether it was saving money or something like that, but the Mercedes-Benz group, which includes Chrysler, Daimler and all that lot, or certainly used to, I think in a money saving effort, they put hollow pins in their wiring loop instead of solid ones, because I'm guessing over the millions of connectors it saves a bit, it saves a bit of money, and it's probably saves a tiny bit of weight in each car as well. But because of that, if you get a seal go in a sensor, oil can migrate into the loom, and it will migrate all the way to the other end of the loom until it gets something else it can get into. And in the case of the SLKs and stuff like that, it's your airflow sensor, the main ECU, and there's a couple of other little sensors which were fine. I think one of them was water temperature, stuff like that. So anyway, I got the repair loom that plugs into the front of the cam sensor, and that has solid plugs, so it stops any more oil getting through. Basically, it can't go any further than that. And then I got some brake clean aerosol, and I've got some 2mm silicone hose, and I just put it on the end of the tiny little spout on the brake clean. I think I used could have been Worth or something like that, but they have a tiny red spout on the cam, and I could get this hose on, and I managed to get it on each pin of each connector and just try and flush the oil through as best I can, or at least to thoroughly clean that connector. So that's what I did. And then next time I went to the car, I left it for a bit because she's been stood since March. Left it for a bit, and then when I went back to it, There was power to the dashboard, but very, very low power, and not enough in it to crank it over. So I thought, okay, so I went to charge the battery up on the car because it was a nice day, and the battery tester said there was a fault. So I took the battery off the car, and the battery tester said it was fully charged after about 5 minutes. And I knew that not to be the case because it was reading 11.5 volts. So, you know, duff battery. So I've got another battery, and I thought while I'm waiting for the battery, I will have the ECU out, and I will check all the connectors that end, and I'll have the what they call the K40 relay pack out, which is the main like low voltage to high voltage bridge, basically. That relay pack, when you command the car on, basically it chucks voltage to it, and that voltage goes, yeah, right, then we'll go, or no, we're not going, depending on condition. It is rare for a 40 amp volt fuse to blow, but it's a known issue that you can get corrosion on the relay pack because they're open. They're not like a plug-in relay, they're like a static version of it, but when you take the cover off, then they're all open. But there was absolutely no corrosion in there, but there was oil in the ECU plug, which I cleaned out, plugged it all back together, put the new battery on, and the car started, and that's as far as we've got. Like I said, I've been up the petroleum station and put some super unleaded in, still cheaper than diesel. Have you noticed diesel's creeping up again? It was 190 something in a garage in Inkley the other day, and it's still 180 something at our local. So the bastards are trying to get as much out of it as they can again. Robbing bastards. Anyway, that's our whole new rant. So yes, we're on the way to Steve. So with that note, I'm driving a Fiat 500 diesel, and it's brilliant. Yes, you just did hear right. I got loaned a Fiat 500 diesel, and it's the quite rare diesel edition. I don't mean fuel, I mean they did a partnership with the fashion house diesel, and they brought out a special edition Fiat 500, special badging, all that lot, and it's a very, very funky little motor car. We've got, Missy said, tools around in a 900cc turbo twin cylinder 500. Didn't want a 1200 because we read up on the 1200s, and it turns out not a lot of people thought the engines were much good. Actually, they were a bit flat in power. And funnily enough, when we were looking for that, my uncle got a Fiat Punto 1200. Lovely car, but God, it was dangerously slow. I mean, to pull out onto a main road, you needed a calendar and 3 weeks written warning. It didn't go well. In fact, I thought it was dangerous, especially in like economy mode. It's literally the twang had gone out the rubber band. It was crap, for want of a better word. So I wasn't expecting great things when we picked up this 900. It took us a while to find this car, to find Felix, because if we wanted a white one or something like that, you could have thrown a brick and hit one. But no, we wanted a blue one. I'm glad we went for blue, 'cause it's a beautiful colour. But we picked it up for like a dealer in North Nottinghamshire. I think they were called Tim, T-I-M, something like that. And it was an ex-demo, or it belonged to a member of staff. I think it belonged to a member of staff. And I was dreading bringing it back down here. Dreading it, because I thought 900cc on the motorway, we're going to be thrown into the ditch by the trucks. Oh no, we're safe. But anything further from the truth, to be honest. The first bit of little urban dual carriageway we hit in Nottingham, I think it's only like a 40 limit. You sort of knew what it was going to be capable of, and when we got on the motorway, you had to watch your speed. It zips right up. Somebody's clanging and banging. Well, probably my uncle, but it's he's been fanning around today. But yeah, really surprised. But this diesel, lovely engine, really lovely engine. You only need rev it to 2.5, it's really, really nice, and the front end felt just that little bit more solid than the 900. I'm guessing because the engine's heavier, there's a touch more weight over the front wheels, but it was a lovely thing, lovely, really lovely car. So yeah, so you did hear me right. I drove a Fiat 500 diesel and it was brilliant. There you go. So yeah, I just thought I'd explain that basically. We'll get on with the next bit from the shed. Alright, you can stop it. You're probably wondering why this cylinder head's here. It's yeah, I'm just looking at it basically. I'm looking at it and just looking at it a little bit more, and I've got a main stand off a Nibbler there and what have you, and just get on with it, Jim. Just get to the other bit. Oh yes. Now anyway, Nibbler dickhead, Slinky passed his MOT, so very happy bunny is me. Some nice drop down motoring to come in the autumnal and winter months. Yes. Anyway, I've just put all the mudguard and the fairings on Nibbler, slowly putting him back together. But my bottom fairings, side fairings are replacements from whenever. I didn't replace them, and the belly pan's been chopped, hacked, buggered. It's going to need some repair at some point, like some glass fibre or something put on it. Hands that do dishes. Anyway, I must thank, let's see, where shall we have his picture? Let's have it there. Steve! For his staggering generosity. I'm going to give you a clue. Yeah, a snap-on dugga-dugga. And other goodies, which will remain private, because, you know, not everybody wants a 4 horsepower Briggs & Stratton 12-inch Spunkathon 5000. But no, a big thanks to Uncle Steve for his generosity and getting the car sorted. Much appreciated. So yeah, so I'm giving up for today, and then I'm going to crash out to have a brew, probably do some Xbox or some shit like that. So this is your weekend wanker catch up. Have fun, be nice to each other, and try not to do bad things. Yes, bye.